In my opinion, it is clear that the shooter directly targeted Miss Williams, taking aim at her and firing shots at her from a good distance away with no other targets nearby. No other innocent bystanders were struck by gunfire, even though there were dozens of children in the immediate area.
A breaking news alert now at noon. Metro Police confirming the woman fatally shot while walking her child to the bus stop at 10th and Chestnut earlier this week was the target of that shooter. Thanks so much for joining us for Wave News at noon, everybody. I'm Rob Wells. Metro Police providing that update less than just about an hour ago. Radaja Williams was gunned down in front of her child at the school bus stop at 10th and Chestnut Streets. That was on Wednesday morning. Police tell us they have a surveillance video with no audio that reveals the gunman taking aim at Williams as she was holding onto her child's hand. Police say they can't solve this crime without people who may have been there.
We understand that the public is sometimes reluctant to talk to the police out of fear of reprisal. And while I say that's not accurate, I would be remiss if I said it is a factor. But what we need is for the community to start standing up to these people and saying enough is enough. We are going to come forward and we are going to tell the police what you did and that we saw you do it. These families deserve answers. And if it were your family member who was killed and you knew that the people in the community knew who did it, wouldn't you want them to come forward?
Police have released 2 blurry photos of that shooter. Now take a close look. Do you know or think you may know that person? If you don't, but maybe you were near 10th and Chestnut just before 8 o'clock Wednesday and could have seen something, you're asked to please call the anonymous tip line and provide police with any information that you may have. The trial for a former JCPS teacher's aide and coach charged with sex abuse involving teenagers ended in a mistrial. In June 2022, Christopher Morris was arrested and then charged with multiple counts of sexual abuse and sodomy involving a youth. Prosecutors confirmed that 2 victims, under age 16, and Morris coached both of them in basketball. One victim says that they were abused between 2012 and 2015. The other between 2019 and 2021. Just last December, Morris planned to plead guilty to some 37 charges, but then withdrew his guilty plea, saying that he didn't trust his lawyer. The trial that started earlier this week ended Thursday in a mistrial after a witness's testimony detail was mentioned. We're still waiting to learn exactly what that testimony was. A Louisville man dies after a crash near Lexington. 40-year-old Junior Gonzalez lost his life after being hit by a vehicle while outside of his own car in the right shoulder of the southbound lane of I-75 near the Clays Ferry Bridge. The Fayette County coroner ruling Gonzalez's death accidental. The other person was taken to the hospital for non-life-threatening injuries. Brian's in now with the first look at the forecast, and with the fair comes that hot weather, and it's here to stay, it looks like.
It looks to be the case. I mean, of course, that's typical when you have any fair anywhere in the country, right? But certainly our fair. It seems like it always lines up with a heat wave this year. No different. We'll see that trend upward starting today, really, to get really solidly into the 90s and then upper 90s as the weekend evolves. Right now, though, the throwaway midway quiet because it's not open yet until 3, but the exhibits, the indoor side, yes, that is, of course, open, and that's where I would be because it is heating up fast. 94 here at the station, 88 at Bowman Field, Olney coming in at 87 and on the climb. Across the rest of Wave Country, a pair of 8s into Bardstown, 89 in E-Town. And hello, Litchfield coming in at 86. Got quite a few cumulus, but the downpours today seem to be focusing a little bit more into southeast sections here of the Commonwealth. We'll see how that trend back to the west, but I think overall these will mainly be shade makers across the area, which is a nice little perk. We need that. You don't want that full sun bearing down on you, right? Temperatures will stay in the lower 90s for highs this afternoon. That rain chance only 10 to 20%. The rest of the weekend outlook is just minutes away, Rob.
Brian, sounds good. Thanks so much for the update. President Donald Trump and Russian President Vladimir Putin meeting today in Anchorage, Alaska, where Trump is hoping to seal a deal with the Russian leader on ending that war in Ukraine.
If I weren't president, in my opinion, he would much rather take over all of Ukraine. But I am president, and he's not going to mess around with me. We're going to find out where everybody stands, and I'll know within the first 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 4 minutes, or 5 minutes, like we tend to find out whether or not we're going to have a good meeting or a bad meeting. And if it's a bad meeting, it'll end very quickly. And if it's a good meeting, we're going to end up getting peace in the pretty near future.
If this summit actually goes well, Trump suggested it'll lead to a second meeting that'll include Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky. It's been nearly 3.5 years since Russia launched a full-scale invasion in Ukraine. Nearly 14,000 Ukrainian civilians have died. That meeting is set to take place at Joint Base Edeldorf-Richardson. Protests are already happening there. For some Alaskans with ties to Ukraine, the conflict, as well as the summit, it hits close to home.
You know, the pain is growing, unfortunately, and seeing today accusing Ukraine not being, I don't know, tame, negotiable, whatever, where it's clearly a victim, it's very, very hard for me.
I think it's so important that Alaskans stand in one voice with in solidarity with Ukraine, in recognition that we share great many values and unfortunately one bad neighbor.
Mostly people who is here is around is American people, so, and they stay for democracy and for freedom for Ukraine.
Meanwhile, a press conference is scheduled after Trump and Putin actually meet. Closer to home, happening right now, a job fair at the KFC Yum Center. They are looking for literally dozens of brand new employees, maybe you. More than 100 full-time and part-time positions are up for grabs. Those include roles in guest services, housekeeping, event setup, security, and a whole lot more. By the way, that job fair is happening now until 2 p.m. If you can't make it, no problem. There's going to be another opportunity between 4 and 6 this evening in the arena's lobby. You can also submit applications online. Be prepared, we're told, for on-the-spot interviews. Also, right now, you can get some free health screenings at the Great Kentucky State Fair. It's taking place in the WellCare of the Kentucky area in South Wing B of the Kentucky Expo Center. In addition to all those screenings, you can also receive dental cleanings, vaccinations, and a lot more at no cost to you. Over at the U of L Health booth, they'll have screenings every day as well. Mammogram screenings taking place from 10 a.m. until 5 p.m. and hands-only CPR demonstrations. There's also going to be free blood pressure screenings between 10 and 2 o'clock daily. You can always sign up for lung and colorectal cancer screenings and find a primary care provider as well. Well, this year's rain may have had rippling effects. That's when it comes to feeding animals this coming winter. We'll explain how it all has to do with farmers and their hay harvest. That's coming up next.
All right, we know about the heat building our way, but the air quality may be a different story. In fact, an air quality alert just came out for part of the weekend. We'll talk more about that and the rest of the numbers for Saturday and Sunday as well, coming up on the other side of the break.